All right, let's do this. Today we're going to learn how to write equations of lines. If you ever see me write WEL, that just means write the equation of a line, okay? So first we're going to quickly talk about our three different forms for writing equations of lines. We have slope-intercept form. That's where we have our slope. And we have our y-intercept, not the x-intercept, this is the y-intercept, okay? The second one is point slope form. M is still our slope, but what we would use for our point, we would combine these. This would be our x1 comma y1 for the point that we choose to use. And then finally, standard form, that's ax plus by equals c, but a, b, and c have to be integers. You are not allowed to have fractions or decimals. And a always has to be positive. Okay, so those are some of the forms and some of your rules that go along with the forms. So let's start using them. For now, we're just going to say let's write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Now, if I tell you to write it in slope-intercept form, to be honest, a lot of times it's easier to just start in point-slope form, except for number one. Number one gives you the y-intercept, it gives you the slope. So number one, the only thing you have to say is y equals 2/3 x minus 2, and you are finished. You had the slope, you had the y-intercept, also known as b, you're done. Number two, this one gives you a slope and it tells you that it contains the point 4 comma 2. So this is an idea where you would want to use point slope form and just convert it into slope intercept form. That just takes 2 steps. So the first thing you want to do is use point slope form. So y minus your y1 is 2 is equal to your slope times x minus x1, which is 4. So all we did was substitute in our slope and our point where they belong. And now, like I said, to get it into slope-intercept form, it's just 2 steps. You just distribute your 1/4 into parentheses. So y minus 2 is equal to 1/4 x minus 1. Add 2 to both sides, and you finish with y is equal to 1/4 x plus 1. You are now in slope-intercept form and ready to go. So then number 3, this one is a little bit trickier because you have to find the slope first on your own. Unfortunately, if you find the slope incorrectly, you really don't have any chance of getting it right. But that's why you just have to be careful. Use either the jump method or your slope formula, whatever you prefer. So the first thing we need to do here is use our slope formula of 4 minus a negative 1 over 3 minus a negative 2. And that's going to give us 5 over 5. So our slope is 1. Now for the point, honestly, it does not matter. You pick either point. Once you turn it into slope-intercept form, you will have the exact same equation. So let's pick the first one. Y minus a negative 1 is y plus 1 is equal to our slope of 1 times x minus a negative 2, which turns into plus 2. Distribute the 1, and we have y plus 1 is equal to x plus 2. Subtract 1 from both sides, and you end up with y is equal to x plus 1 in slope-intercept form. Okay? So, now that you have that, why don't you try number 4 really quick. Just pause the video and give it a try on your own. Okay, so here we go. 9 minus 3 over 6 minus a negative 2 is going to give us 6/8, which means our slope is 3/4. Pick any point, doesn't matter. So let's go with point slope form. Y minus 3 is equal to 3/4 times x minus a negative 2. Distribute your 3/4 and you get y minus 3 is equal to 3/4 x plus 3/2. And then you just add 3 to both sides. Your final answer is y equals to 3/4 x plus 9/2. And you are done. Hopefully you got that. Remember, no mixed numbers, no decimals when we're writing equations. Number 5 and 6, they're a little tricky because, well, you're not really going to be writing an equation in slope-intercept form per se. Why don't you think about it for just a second. See if you notice anything special about number 5 and 6. In number 5, do you notice that the x coordinates are the same? So what's that going to mean? If we're graphing the line 2, 4 and 2, 8, wouldn't that look a little something like this? And then you just graph a vertical line. The shortcut to this is the answer is just x equals 2. Now, if you are going through this and you did the slope, you'd have 8 minus 4 over 2 minus 2, which is going to give you 4 over 0, which you know is undefined. And then if you are using, if you're just memorizing slopes, or if you're using that new thing a student created called Hoivux, you'll understand that an undefined slope is a vertical line which has the equation x equals a number, and that number has to be 2. So now that you just saw that in number 6, I'm sure you can guess that the answer is going to be y equals -6, because both of these are the same. If you thought about it graphically, you have 0, -6 and 3, -6 would end up being a horizontal line. Or if you use the slope, you would have -6 plus 6 over 0 minus 3, which would just end up giving you 0 over -3, which is just 0. And 0 is a horizontal line with a equation of y equals a number. Number 7 and 8. This is where we get a little bit tricky, because you just have to make sure you read through it, and to be honest, you can get rid of a lot of this stuff. So number 7 says that we're going to write an equation of a line that's parallel to y equals 2x minus 10 through the point 1, 5. You do not need that -10 for any reason, so you can just get rid of him. You don't really need the y equals. The only thing you really need to know from that is the slope. That -10 is not supposed to scare you in any way. So what is parallel to 2? And if you remember from the notes the other day, the slope is 2. Parallel lines have the exact same slope. Now this is just the same question as any of the ones above. You got your point. Y minus 5 is equal to the slope of 2 times x minus 1. Distribute your 2, 2x minus 2, add 5, and you get y is equal to 2x plus 3, and you are done. That is how you write an equation of a line that's parallel to a given line through a point. So number 8 is your turn. Pause the video, give it a try. Except for this time it says perpendicular to y equals 2x minus 10. Again, the only thing you need is the slope of 2. Perpendicular to a positive 2 is a -1/2. And then you just plug it into your point slope equation. Distribute. Add your 4. And you get y equals -1/2 x plus 5. And you are done. Okay. Moving along. There's no real easy way to just take a problem and write it straight into standard form. Usually, the only way we write in standard form is if it's straight from a word problem, or if we are actually converting a equation into standard form. Now to do that, you just have to remember a couple of rules. First of all, a has to be positive. Second, you have to have all integers, no fractions or decimals. And also remember, x and y are both on one side of the equation with your constant on the other side. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, well, get rid of your fraction. So what can we multiply this entire equation by to get rid of our denominator of 3? 3. Sometimes you might have to multiply by something bigger to get rid of two fractions at the same time. Really, it depends on the problem. So this one, we're just going to multiply everything by 3, and we get 3y is equal to 1x plus 12. Then we have to bring the x to the left side, so we're going to subtract x from both sides, and we're going to end up with -x plus 3y is equal to 12. So to finish, you just have to remember x needs to be positive. So if you multiply this entire equation by a -1, that will give us x minus 3y is equal to a -12, and you are in standard form. Our next topic is direct variation. Direct variation is a form of writing equations. The direct variation equation is y equals kx, where k is our constant of variation. So you need to be given some information in these problems to find k. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through what is a two-step problem. X and y vary directly. Write the equation when x is equal to 4 and y equals 12. After we write the direct variation equation, we're going to find y when x equals 5. So to do this, the first thing you want to do is substitute in your x and y into your direct variation equation to find k. So y is equal to kx, y is 12, is equal to k times x is 4. Divide both sides by 4, and you end up with k equals 3. Now, k equals 3 is not the answer to the first part. It says write the direct variation equation. K equals 3 is not an equation. You have to write y is equal to 3x. This is your direct variation equation. Now, since you have that, to finish the problem, it says find y when x is equal to 5. So that's when we just say y is equal to 3, substitute 5 for x, and you get y equals 15. Okay? Very common mistake. People read this problem and they just stop at k equals 3. You must write the equation if it asks you to do so. This next example is the exact same thing. Pause the video and give it a try on your own. So you have y equals kx. This time it says that x is equal to a negative 6 and y is 15. So 15 is equal to k times a negative 6. So from here you just have to solve for k. Divide both sides by a negative 6. And you get k is equal to negative 15 over 6, which can be reduced to negative 5 halves. Remember, we always reduce our fractions in this class. So we have y is equal to negative 5 halves x. That is our direct variation equation. To finish part 2, we just substitute 20 in for y is equal to negative 5 halves x. Multiply both sides by negative 2/5. And you're going to end up with x equals 8. I'm sorry, this problem said negative 20. I apologize about that. Negative 20. So negative 20 times a negative 2/5 is a positive 8. Line of best fit. You're going to need your calculator for this, so press pause, go get it, and I'll go get mine. Okay, so a line of best fit is something your calculator can do to take some data and analyze it and actually come up with a linear model. So press stat on your calculator, and then this is going to take you to your stat menu. What you want to do first is go to edit by pressing number 1 on the edit menu. Now if you have information here, big secret, do not highlight L2 and press delete or it goes away. To clear a list, you highlight the list and press clear, not delete, then press down and it'll take you out. So you go back, highlight L1, press clear, then press down. So we have some data that represents the number of A's in Algebra 2 Trig from 2000 to 2008. You do not need to type in 2000, you can just type 0. So we would just enter our X column into L1. So that's 0, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Scroll over to the right and enter your 7. 10, 9, 14, and 18. We're going to have to pause this video and finish it a little bit later. I just realized that we only have about 20 seconds left. So we will finish this question in class. Thank you. Have a good day. Sorry we ran out of time.